I was always into something, and when I was into something, I always took it, you know, head on, and I did it. It was, you know, basically that's all I did. You know, I was into breakdancing, and I did that for a while. After that, I was into skateboarding, so the same thing. You know, I would be out all night, every day, just doing that, right, until I became good at it. Then when I started lifting weights, it was in grade 10, you know, I had an actual weightlifting class, not a gym class. We had a weightlifting section, so that's when I actually started to train with weights. The thing that motivated me to do my first show, I think it was just through basic talking to friends and people around the gym area, and you know, things like that. Just people saying, you know, hey, you look like you could do a show, and obviously that sits with you, right? You know, once you hear something like that, you take an interest to it. So you know, you think about it, you watch a couple of them, you see what they're kind of about, and you know, the whole dieting thing, and you know, it's just something that you think, you know, well, can I do it? So I went for it my first time. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't look the best. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I remember it was a Stratford show. It's not only, you know, are you nervous because, well, not only is it your very first show, but you're not sure if you're doing everything right. I remember I didn't bring Pro Tan. I had to just use extra Dream Tan, which I don't know if you know the difference, but you know, it's a huge difference. And you know, my tan was off, and I just wasn't conditioned right. You know, I didn't know proper ways of dieting. Yeah, I did end up taking third, so that was not only, you know, not only did I say, okay, maybe I did something right, or I'm doing something right, but obviously I have to improve, right? So, my epilepsy. Basically, I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 10. It happened when I was in elementary school in front of a computer, when I was in a computer class, I remember. Basically, it was just one of those things where, you know, I was diagnosed with it. I woke up in the hospital after having a seizure in elementary school, and they told me that I had grand mal epilepsy, which, well, the full name is juvenile myoclonic epilepsy, and they're grand mal seizures that come with it, which are the worst. It's you know, it's one of those things that you're faced with, and there's nothing you can do with it. You know, either you accept it, or you hate yourself for it. And, you know, the thing is that I do have to make sure that I do get normal amounts of sleep. I don't stress too much. It's little things like that, because it's stress and sleep induced that'll help trigger the seizures more than anything. So the great thing is that I incorporate that into my bodybuilding a lot. I like to make sure, you know, obviously as a bodybuilder you have to get your sleep. You have to make sure you're always eating. Stress does help hold water, and you know, it's just little things like that. You find you get a lot more places in life when you're not stressing about things all the time. So you know, I do apply that to my life a lot. I just make sure I take my medication regularly, and I do my best. So you know, I'm luckily going to say that I haven't had seizures in a little while, and hopefully we keep it that way. So I haven't had any problems this time around, for the fact that you learn from your mistakes. I find, you know, every time I diet, it gets a little easier. I don't want to say easier in the diet itself. It's harder because you know what's coming, but for the fact that you're not second guessing yourself, you know what to expect. So in that sense, I would say that it hasn't been harder. Believe it or not, when I'm dieting, I'm most busiest. You know, I'm at the gym, you know, at training clients at 10 at night, or you know what I mean? I'll spread it out like that. I find if I keep myself busy and I prep my meals, I'm not at home waiting for the next meal, right? And that's usually how I work it out. So if I'm busy doing things like that, or you know, it just gets your mind off of things all the time, because I'm the type of guy where I naturally do love food. So for me to sit at home and be not only love food and naturally just be eating all the time, but to sit there and tell myself, okay, you can't eat for 2 hours, you can't eat for an hour, you can't eat for 30 minutes. It's just, you know, it'll drive you nuts. Last year I did this show. I placed second in middleweight. Great show, like I said, best show I've ever done. I did a few shows before, but this was bar none the best held show, most organized, most people, most, you know, not only people there, but people as in sponsors, and you know, there's tons of people just around, media. I love the show. I took second in middleweight, and you know, hopefully this year I do again, or even first, but you never know. We'll see what goes. But either way, I love doing the show. So for the most part, this morning was a little draining, you know, dehydrated, but after the show I got a little bit of liquids back in me. You can't mess it up too much, of course, for the night show. So I feel good. I have a little more energy than I did this morning, and I'm looking forward to the night show. It's one of my favorites. So.
You're already making some noise for competitor number 541. He says if you close your eyes and see it, you can open them and do it. Daniel Ziccardi. Very powerful, Dan Ziccardi.
Went well. A lot smoother than I thought, actually. Thought I was gonna have to pull out some poses there on my ass, but it went well.
Good.